reduce these testosterone killers. This list is going to be a work in progress. I'm constantly editing this list based on I'm adding more studies to it, or I'm adding more links, or I'm adding more dot points, or I'm retracting and changing. I'm not so much retracting and changing my mind very fast at all. These are pretty much known testosterone killers or estrogen boosters or cortisol increases, and therefore testosterone retractors. So therefore, like things like polyunsaturated fats, PUFAs, or badass motherfuckers fats. So I'm talking canola oil, sunflower oil, sesame seed oil, actively withdraw vitamin E from our bodies, which we're already usually deficient in, because a lot of people just don't eat foods that are high in vitamin E. And when we do that, like our estrogen typically goes out of whack, our cortisol levels are fucked up, and therefore our testosterone gets fucked up, let alone the other effects it has on a direct impact on testosterone, which I've included on this page. So this particular page, I won't dive too deep into like the actual details of every single item, because they're going to be changing over time. You can read them for yourself. Briefly, unfiltered tap water / tap water. I've gone through that in the previous module in what are estrogenics. If you haven't watched that one, please watch what are estrogenics, my previous module on this right hand corner here. That'll give you a full understanding of tap water and why like things like the birth control hormone and estrogen from basic from women and men when they urinate, and the filtration systems in our waterways don't really filter out or break down hormones like we wish they would. So unfiltered tap water is awful, let alone the amount of fluoride that's in there, let alone the amount of untreated farm fertilizer that ends up in there that doesn't all get taken out and broken down. Plastics and plastic water bottles. Yes, it says BPA, but it also contains BPS, which is essentially an almost identical plastic, which is just as toxic, which isn't illegal to, or doesn't have to be known to be produced onto these plastics. Everyone just focuses on BPA. There's obviously other chemicals that are fucked up that are in plastics and plastic water bottles, and also want you to avoid microwaving with plastic. I'm not going to get you to cancel out microwaving altogether. I think that stops a lot of things, but microwaving with plastics, always transfer it over to a non-plastic bowl, like ceramics are perfect. Beautiful mint, peppermint, spearmint. This really shocked a lot of people. It shocked me. I didn't realize it has a correlation with study. I'll pop the study up on here at some stage of reducing testosterone levels. Licorice, it's not phytoestrogen. There's this really specific estrogen reaction with licorice, so it's really fucked up. I didn't realize how bad licorice was. So some people can just eat a whole bag of licorice. Steer clear as much as you can those chocolate licorice bullets. It's cheap chocolate as well, which leads to reduced testosterone or increased estrogens. So licorice, steer clear as much as you can. Pesticides, obviously you can't say, oh, I'm not going to eat pesticides today. Typically what I want you to do is just try when you can to buy organic. This is why people buy organic at shopping centers. It's because there's a reduction in hormone manipulating chemicals used in the growing process. And that's why if you want to spend money, organic beef, organic chickens, organic eggs, pasture raised eggs, and organic vegetables when you can. Farmed fish, it's a fucked up situation. Farmed fish, the big one for me, if it says Atlantic salmon, it means it's farmed. It needs to literally say, whenever you're buying fish, wild caught fish, wild cod, wild flathead, wild this, wild that. If you're not sure, ask the person. No doubt it's probably going to be just frozen fish. Don't buy Atlantic salmon anymore. The reason being, these farmed fish, they all swim around in the exact same water most of the time, and if it's like a contained ocean like little container, little fenced off thing, they're still shitting and eating amongst each other all the time, and they're being fed like genetically modified corns and estrogenic chemicals to make these fish bigger, let alone like the chemicals that they're using in some of these farmed fish, especially salmon, makes them appear more orange than what they naturally are as well. So these genetically modified fish, because they're getting genetically modified chemicals that they're eating, awful for testosterone levels. Beautiful. And farmed like omegas. So I'll go into it a little bit more in a little bit, but like omega 6s. So you'll get those from polyunsaturated fats, which I've got my own category here. Soy, I reckon stay as far away from soy as possible, regardless of what vegan or vegetarian tells you otherwise. The phytoestrogen count in these products is just, it's extreme. It's an extreme amount of phytoestrogens, which is the plant-based estrogen that has that can cling onto human estrogen receptors even easier than actual human estrogen. They are extreme levels of, especially synthetic soy. So synthetic soys are in like vegetarian or vegan knockoffs of meats, soy emulsifiers, protein, soy isolates. Stop eating soy. Stop having soy milk. Stop it. Vegetable oils, this is what I was talking about before, about the omega 6s and polyunsaturated fatty acid oils. So we're talking about canola, sunbean, corn, cotton, seeds, sesame. If it's not olive oil, if it's not coconut oil, if it's not macadamia nut oil, don't eat it. It's really bad for you. It's actively harming your body. Most nuts and seeds. So this is a weird one to bring up, because obviously you've heard before that nuts are actually healthy for you. They're just calorie dense. You just shouldn't eat a lot of nuts, because high in fat content, and therefore you're more likely to binge and then not stick to your diet and gain weight. That's the big consensus with nuts. A lot of nuts that people recommend, so things like Brazil nuts, because they have the skin on Brazil nuts has a lot of selenium, I believe it is, which is really beneficial for higher testosterone production. So it's the skin on Brazil nuts, which is really great. Obviously, there's healthier fats in nuts, but with nuts, a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of phytoestrogens in nuts. It's not to the extreme of like soy. Oh, don't get me started again. Soy is an extreme amount, but per 100 grams, like almonds, walnuts, they still have a lot of phytoestrogens. So this is why, like, I'd rather you reduce the almond intake, because that's the thing. Like, almonds themselves, they have so many more benefits than drawbacks. So it might have a few extra phytoestrogens, but it has a little bit of vitamin E in it. So I think 100 grams is like 20 to 30% of your daily vitamin E intake. Obviously, I want you to take a healthy multivitamin to take care of that vitamin E intake. But there's a lot of benefits for almonds, for walnuts, for Brazil nuts, than just phytoestrogen. So all I want you to do is just moderate. Don't eliminate. Don't be scared to have nuts. Just try not to have the shit ones. Don't have flaxseed. Don't have try to stay away from seeds, to be honest. The best nut that you can have is a macadamia nut. Like flat. Flax seeds, yeah, again, I've got my own category here. Do not touch it at all costs, unless you want to start growing estrogen. Unless you want to become an estrogen expression factory. Processed foods, trans fats. So these are the harmful fats that are actively hurting your body again. So we're talking heart disease, type 2 diabetes, inflammation, and they're just usually found in processed food. So it's not that processed food is to be demonized. It's just cheap processed food is cheap for a reason. It's because it actively harms your body and fucks up your hormone levels as well as your ability to lose fat. Excessive alcohol consumption. Because I know we're in a modern world, each to their own. I recommend you, when you do drink, just have a shit ton of water while you're drinking, and just stop drinking beer if you can. Please stop drinking beer. Have hop-free beer if you can. It is hard to find, but you can find it. Hop-free beer. Because that's the only thing with beer is that the hops is very estrogenic, replicating in the body, therefore reducing in testosterone levels. Excess alcohol itself, like there's been studies showing that having 1 or 2 shots of vodka actually increase testosterone, which is very interesting. But obviously, like the damage will come from pretty much the hangover food and the 2 or 3 days of being out of routine and skipping a gym session because you're hungover and stressed and increased cortisol and you didn't get REM sleep. So it's not just I'm just having 1 or 2 drinks or 3 drinks or 6 drinks. It's no, I'm fucking up the routine of my body for the next 5 days every time you drink to excess. Obviously it's going to fuck up your testosterone, cortisol, estrogen levels for a week or 2, and you just lose that momentum. So try and keep it on a minimum, and if you have to, just do damage control. Most pasteurized dairy products. So pasteurized dairy products, they're things that help. They strip the dairy product of life. And I'm talking like, it's essentially they take out the things that can go moldy and off in dairy products, just so it increases the storage and shelf life. And by doing that, they have more chance of making profit because they've got greater opportunity in time and length to sell a product. But in doing so, by stripping the product of life, it's not pro or prebiotic anymore, and it's just a waste. It can have an estrogenic effects onto the body. So if you do buy dairy products, just try to buy unpasteurized, fresh dairy products. But again, like I've mentioned here, I'm prone to eating protein yogurts, whey protein powders, and bars. So each to their own with dairy products. Green tea. There's links literally and a few studies that suggest green tea reduces testosterone levels. Has an estrogenic effect, I think. So yeah, stay away from green tea. Like surprisingly, I think rooibos tea as well. It's like a decaf South African tea. It does the same thing. So if you have to drink tea, drink black normal tea. Try not to drink green tea. This one shocked me when I first found out. But green tea extract is apparently pretty good for you, which is in a lot of multivitamins. Avoid touching receipts. They contain BPA, so receipts from every shopping center. Don't put them in your bags. Don't put them in your wallet. Don't put them in the car. It's just like, imagine it's full of glitter. Everything it touches, it just gets stained with estrogenic boosting like substance and chemicals that you're going to touch eventually, and then you're going to put your hands on your face and your nose and your mouth and your skin, on your eyes, in the foods that you're eating. Don't touch, avoid them at all. If someone is handing it and you don't want to be rude, be rude. Don't touch store receipts. Have them show it to you. Be a weird idiot when it comes to receipts. Stop touching them. You'd be surprised how much BPA is actually found in newspapers as well. I'll get you to look into it in your own time. Teflon pans, non-stick pans. Again, like the chemical compound that is on the Teflon pan, in Teflon itself, is actually a toxic chemical. I'll put in more information here, but it's estrogenic. It's one of those it's not phyto. I have to double check. It's escaped my mind. And these are, I've got other random food items here, just to like minimize if you can. I think like reishi mushroom, pumpkin seeds, like, and this is the thing, like reishi mushrooms, you've probably heard that they're good for you in terms of reducing cortisol, but there's other evidence that suggests it's got high phytoestrogen counts. Same with pumpkin seeds. This is why I say just stop eating seeds, to be honest. Like, seeds have phytoestrogen contents, which are essentially, if you think like, what is a seed in a plant? It's the thing that sprouts life to make the seed grow. Therefore, it has to have some sort of estrogenic compound in it to have it be like a seed of life for another plant, for another object. It's essentially it's a reproductive byproduct of a plant or an object. So I'd rather you have macadamia nuts or almond. I know almonds are technically seeds, but I'd rather have macadamia nuts than forms of seeds. BPA, pesticides, yeah, and we've talked about this. So red food dyes. Other major T lowering factors, I'll get you to go over this in your own time, but these are the basics. This is what we're combating here at Testosterone Training. We're going to get you to stop overtraining, not doing endurance training, because it's been affiliated with having lower cortisol levels. So this is long endurance training, not just getting your steps up. Being over 15% body fat actually means or over 14% body fat actually means you're holding on excess fat on your body, and you're producing excess estrogen than what the body is naturally meant to be holding on to. Therefore, you've got excess estrogen at a cost of lowered testosterone levels. Obesity, same thing. Irregular exercise routine, so that means you're not getting consistent testosterone levels at a constant rate that are increasing over time. Not a REM sleep. Go to the sleep module to learn more about REM sleep. Grooming products, we went through with that on the last module. Calorie restrictions for too long. So this is why we want to have a bit of a roller coaster effect, because calorie restrictions for too long, so too long in a calorie deficit, actually leads to a reduction in testosterone, because your body thinks, look, I'm in a hospitable environment. I've been starving myself, quote unquote starving myself for months. Maybe I should just stop producing so much testosterone, just because obviously this isn't a habitable situation. So we want to strategically eat more foods every couple of months to trick your body into thinking that you're in a safe spot to lose weight and have high testosterone levels. More vitamin D. We need to get you having more sex. More sex means more testosterone, not more jerking off, more sex. We need to combat your self-esteem issues. Low levels of success, because success breeds more testosterone. More testosterone breeds more drive for more success. Aging, not much we can do about that except reducing the things that speed up aging. So chemicals, estrogenics, sedentary lifestyle lead to aging, and therefore chronic drug, tobacco, marijuana use, excess alcohol, and we want to avoid extreme diabetic states, so extreme sugar intakes. So beautiful. Cheers, guys. I'll get you on the next one. And this, again, like, I'm going to be changing this page over time. So whatever's in this video module, I wouldn't be shocked if I change this within the next week as well by adding to it. All right. See you in the next one.